Welcome to Beyond the Reflection, a podcast exploring the transformative power of self-love and self-worth. Join us as we embark on a journey of personal growth, authenticity, and empowerment. Through insightful conversations, expert interviews, and thought-provoking discussions, we provide practical tools and inspiration to navigate your own path of self-discovery and transformation. From healing past wounds and nurturing healthy relationships to embracing your own unique beauty and unleashing your inner strength. We cover a wide range of topics to help you cultivate self-love and live a fulfilling life. It's time to go beyond the surface, beyond the expectations, and beyond the reflection. Welcome to Beyond the Reflection, where we empower you to embrace your true self and live a life filled with love, purpose, and authenticity. Welcome to Beyond the Reflection. I am Avig Boer, your guide on this journey of self-discovery. I've always been captivated by reflection, not just what we see in mirrors, but the moments and choices that shape us. It was through my own journey that I discovered the profound truths reflected back at me, challenging me to grow and embrace who I am. Today, I'll be sharing a bit of my own journey of discovering self-love. I believe that if you feel that you can't truly be yourself when you're in certain groups, then maybe you haven't found your tribe yet. I'm on a mission to discover my tribe, a community where I can be authentically me, and I invite you to join me on this journey. I feel like I am just beginning to live now at the age of 40. I'm learning how to take action despite my fears. This is one of the things that I've been scared to do for a very long time, just a few of them. And I have been living in the shadows most of my life. And today I am choosing to come out of those shadows. Um, this journey of self-discovering and acceptance over the past few years have been extremely challenging. I struggled most of my life with self-hatred due to my scoliosis. I found out I had scoliosis, I think, around the age of 12. And from that day, I literally just wished I could be anybody else except me. I would pray every night that I was in a dream and I was going to wake up and my spine was going to be straight. But mostly I just lived in denial. And I felt like maybe I was being punished for something, and I would pray and ask God to just please take this away. And it basically caused me to not, these insecurities caused me not to live up to my full potential. It really, really, looking back on it, kept me from doing a lot of things that I wish I would have done. One of those things were like swimming, just that I never learned how to swim. I'm now 40 and still probably don't know how to swim. And it's, it's mainly because I was so ashamed to go out, wear a bathing suit. And even if I didn't even wear a bathing suit, just getting wet and just being insecure of my body and my back. And I remember hanging out with one of my ex-boyfriends and being at the pool, and I would just sit on the side. Like, I just felt like I missed out on so much life and living, uh, because I didn't love the body I was in. I didn't love the body I was given. And I felt like no one truly understood that. And it just it just kept me from doing so many things. This podcast has been one of those things as well. It's speaking in front of people or just being in any kind of spotlight has been something that I've shunned away from for a very long time. I would just watch people living out the life that I wanted to live, but my insecurities literally just kept me from living the life that I truly wanted to live. And can you tell that I'm nervous? So, over the past few years, I started to really, really get out of my own way. Like, I challenged myself just doing small things to that would terrify the crap out of me, just doing it anyway and getting out of my own way. I I like I said, I would basically just deny the fact that my back was what it was, so I never would speak about it. And if I someone brought it up, it would be something that I would cry. I mean, ugly cry about. And so I remember the day that I said, something, you have to get past this, whatever this hatred you have going on for yourself, you have to get past it. So I remember when I was in college, this is in my 20s, time now, late 20s, I challenged myself every day to speak about my back issues to someone. They could be a client, a friend, or just anyone that did not know me. I would speak to them, and every time I did, I would cry and cry and cry. But something beautiful happened in that because I remember that the more I told the story, the less the tears would come. Like right now, I am not crying, but I'm still nervous. And it did get easier, but the real struggle was sharing it with romantic partners, with people that I was with. Um, that was something that really, really terrified me. And I remember before I married my daughter's father, he asked me if there was anything that I wanted to do or change, or, just if I had anything that I would ever want to change about myself. And it was an innocent question. Now, he probably didn't mean anything by it, but I just started crying and crying because I was like, okay, well, here's your chance to actually, open up about your own insecurities. So I told him, I was like, I really want to get spine surgery. It's something that I've always been afraid of doing. Uh, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I knew about your back. It's cool. And he didn't make a big deal. And I said, wow, so do people really not see me in this light that apparently I portray myself in? That was really mind blowing to me. It really was mind blowing because I just couldn't believe that it really, most of it was just in my head. I was making things bigger than what it was. And it's not like people weren't interested in me because they were, but I guess I just never felt good enough. I never felt like I was worthy of somebody being interested in me. And I really felt like I don't know, like a fraud, like I was faking. And it didn't matter how much I gave and gave in a relationship. I realized that my giving was in hopes that someone would feel this hole and emptiness that was inside of me, this acceptance and love that I refused to give to myself. And even though like it seemed like I was always out there, I was very creative and I can do a lot of things. I still just felt undeserving of love, really, and I'm not sure why. Um, and so looking back, I realized that I created this pattern of self-sabotaging my relationships due to the insecurities I was feeling. And it's crazy because you want something so bad, yet I feel like I was constantly pushing away what I really was craving. But mostly, it was just really, really hard for me to feel like I deserved to be loved. Um, yeah, I my first real boyfriend I was with for I don't know, almost 10 years, very long time. And just imagine 10 years of not being honest about how you feel, or the insecurities you're going through, and just even wanting to open up. And although I knew that he cared for me, I felt guilty for asking him to, because I couldn't do that for myself. So there was a turning point when I actually became a mother. When I became a mom for the first time, well, the only time, but when I had my daughter, I realized that I wanted to raise a strong, independent, confident woman who knew that she deserved the world. I didn't want to portray my insecurities onto her, and I knew that she deserved a strong mom. So when my marriage didn't last, I mean, there I go sabotaging things again. I mean, it's never a one person's fault, but it didn't stop me from feeling guilty for it not working. when it didn't last, I realized that I, more than anything, I just wanted to give her the love and home that I didn't have growing up, and and I feel like I failed at that. So it was just she and I, and I poured every ounce of love I could into that child. Probably too much because I felt like I was living through her in a way. She was everything that I wanted to be. This little person, I mean, she was confident and just beautiful. And she looked in the mirror and she would tell herself, I love you. I'm beautiful. I'm gorgeous. I mean, all of these things. She was just everything. And I envied that. I really did. And here I go. I asked her one day, I say, hey, baby, who loves you? And she said, me, Ira. I love Ira. The girl's 1 year old, right? And mind you, just knew, I just knew she was going to say, oh, you do. Like, I just knew she was going to mention me, but she didn't. And for a minute, I felt my heart just, sink a little bit. But then I thought about it and I said, well, how perfect and simple is that answer, right? You know, how simple is that? And then I asked myself the same question. I was like, okay, well, who loved you? And I'm thinking, my mom, my dad, my sister, brother. I'm thinking everybody in the world. I have a whole list of people who I think love me. I'm not sure. Maybe they love me, maybe they don't. But the bottom line is my name wasn't on that list. And that really did something to me that I I never would have thought of myself. But it made sense because I never thought anything much of myself before then. And in that moment, I realized that I was manipulating my child like I was manipulating every other romantic partner that I've ever been with. I'm in my mind, I'm like, if I pour everything into you, if I give you everything you want, if you know, and here's me living for other people, trying to make them happy, pouring everything I have into someone else, expecting them to give me what I refuse to give myself, right? So it really hit me when I realized I was doing that to my daughter. And her little smart self, she said, oh, not me. You got the wrong person. You know, you're not, I'm not feeding into that crap. And she didn't. But it woke me up in a way that I wasn't expecting. And it made me realize that my insecurities may be a bigger issue than I thought it was. And if I didn't fix that, then I was going to end up projecting them onto my child. That's not something I wanted to do. So I started working on myself. And I'm realizing every day that it's a journey. It's not something that I can fix over. Of course, it's not something I can fix overnight. I, but it's definitely something that I want to make sure that I could overcome and just get stronger and it becomes like second nature. I'm challenging myself to every day look in a mirror and find something about me that I truly, truly love. I spent so many, I spent so much time finding things that I did not love about myself. And when I did love something, it was always, oh, I love the fact that that you're talented and you can draw and you can sew and you can do hair. Like, I love those things about you, but it had nothing to do with me physically, because I didn't, you know, I would just sit and criticize and nitpick at everything. Like, oh, I wish this, wish you were taller, wish I had more boobs. Oh, that was a whole nother thing too. Going through puberty and everybody else is growing and developing, and here on me over here trying to stuff tissue in my bras. That now imagine I'm up here dealing with back issues and like flatness up here. So it was like, dang. I remember telling my dad, I said, I don't know why this guy want to be with me. I told him I'm like flat like that wall over there. Like, I don't get it. And my dad would be like, well, sometimes it's not all about that. And I was like, dang. I mean, I'm the I'm the only one with this cricket spine, and here I am, the only one out of all my sisters that just cannot grow. But there, so insecurities were definitely getting the best of me all the time, coming from every which way, and I just couldn't find things about me that I love. So today, I am coming out the shadows. I am learning to embrace all of me. I am doing things that I have always been afraid to do. And speaking in front of people is one of them, because because I didn't like the spotlight on me. A huge turning point for me is when I realized that the only way for me to get better is to actually be vulnerable, to actually go back to the beginning and really, really look at my journey and my stories and realize how I put myself in so many dangerous situations due to my lack of love for myself, respect for myself. And I stayed in situations and relationships. I allowed myself to be disrespected in ways that if I loved myself just a little bit, I wouldn't have done. And so I went back, and hence this book right here. I wrote this, right? This book, this book is therapy for me. This book really helped heal a lot of trauma that I have been holding in. And it's not just a book of my life and my story and my journey. Just like all of us, we all have a very unique journey and story, and our in our stories is what shape us, but It doesn't define who we are. And it doesn't matter where you come from and what you've done and how you got there. But as long as you learn, you grow, and you forgive. Mainly, you just forgive yourself. You forgive yourself for everything. I mean, we have to give ourselves grace, and we have to let go so we can actually live. You can't live in the past. I mean, you hold on to something for a little while, it may be okay. The longer you hold on to it, the heavier it becomes. So I'm letting go of of all of the the guilt, basically. The guilt and shame and self-hatred and insecurities and all of that. I am shedding. I'm shedding something new every day, and it feels so good. It feels so good. I have to show you. So the I was talking about this book, but look at this. I'm gonna show you. Do you see that? Now this happened. I released this book last year. But every time I look at this picture, the fact that I put myself on here, the thing that I have run from my entire life, the fact that I put it out here, I sometimes I still like get nervous. I'm like, oh goodness, you actually did that. Imagine it. I've been hiding for a very long time, and that took what almost 39 years to do, to just go and bear myself. I mean, I still haven't learned how to swim yet. Um, but I have worn a bathing suit and went to the beach. Well, baby steps. I'm getting there. And and I'm just I'm tired of creating diseases in my body because I refuse to love who I am, and I holding on to things that I really shouldn't hold on to. And I feel like I feel like I am literally just now getting to know who I am. I have been here 40 years struggling to get to this point and finally see me. I have no idea who was reflecting back at me all those times I looked in the mirror, but I am just now seeing myself and seeing who I can become and seeing the possibilities. And it's exciting. It really is exciting. And I feel so much gratitude and pride at the amount of growth that I've experienced, even just in the past couple years. It's really been life changing. And although I and although I have sabotaged other relationships, I do feel like Well, I do know that they all have taught me a lot about who I am, and I don't regret any of it. And I've learned I've learned so much in the experience that moving forward, I know what it is that I want, and I know that my worth comes only from me. No one can define that. No one can take that away. And I've also learned that the people in our lives, you have to be very careful about, well, just pay attention to the people that you associate with. But I know that the people in our lives that we have great relationships with, they those relationships and those people represent the part of us that that's beautiful, that we love. It represents who we are in all of those ways. And the people that we seem that to not be able to get along with and we have challenging relationships with, those people are also there for a reason, and they represent the part of us that still needs healing. So just know that everybody in your life, it's there because it's something that they're basically a reflection of who you are. And when you can look up and you see that for the most part you have all good, beautiful relationships, that's when you know that you have finally got through some difficult things. Like you finally made it. You finally figure out some things, because life on the outside and people that's in our lives, it's literally all of it is just a reflection of where we currently are in life. And I'm happy to at this stage of my life that I could finally look in a mirror and say, I love you. I do. I love you. And I love who you are on the inside, but I also love and appreciate this vessel that I live in. And for the first time in my life, I'm proud of the body I'm in. I mean, I have no idea why I couldn't get there before, but I am very, very proud that I'm there now. And I would like to invite you to be on this journey with me so we could share our love, our experiences, and literally just get to a point in a place where we could love ourselves enough to live the lives that we truly, truly want, that we can go beyond the surface. I am your host, a Vague Boy, and I appreciate you being on this journey with me. Thank you for listening, and I will be back with interviews of other women sharing their journeys and their experiences, and we're going to build a beautiful community. And I'm just super excited to see where this goes and how big we could create this community so we can support each other and love each other and know that this is a safe space. This is a safe space. If you can, you could, if you have any questions, you can contact us. And if you have any stories you want to share and you would like to also be a part of this community and come on the podcast, you can also contact me. And I hope to see you all soon. Thank you so much.